I guess I'm live. All right, I haven't done this in a very long time. I have the webcam there and the computer here, so I can see sort of what I'm doing. I'm gonna talk about a movie called The Long Kiss Goodnight, and it's directed by Remy Harling, or as we say here in Sweden about the Finnish people, Remmi Harlin. And it's an action movie. I was supposed to do a review of it, but I thought, what the hell, I can do a live stream, and I hope I look good and that the audio is fine, and I should have my computer there. Or see, I'm gonna try something. Let's see how this goes. Just give me a minute, a second. Is it better like this? Let's do it like this. I'll put it right here. Because this is a live stream, I haven't done this in a while. I'm a little bit rusty. I want to have a nice background like that. So I hope you can hear me all right. So, The Long Kiss Goodnight. This is for my marathon from the podcast junkfoodcinema.com. Amnesia, because I'm talking about The Long Kiss Goodnight, and like I said before, it's an action movie, and I'm listening to the podcast. I chose 5 movies to talk about that I have listened to, and the second one I thought, what the hell, let's do something different. Let's do a live stream. And I saw The Long Kiss Goodnight. I'm gonna change the camera a little bit. I don't have a good angle here. Let's see if I can find something better maybe. I'm not completely satisfied with the angle. I'm so sorry for this. I should have planned this before. But yeah, whatever. Long Kiss Goodnight. It's an action movie from 96. And it stars Gina David, Samuel L. Jackson, Brian Cox, and a lot of people, Craig Burko, David Morse, and so on and so on. It's a movie about this woman that has, she's like 8 years old because she woke up without memory, and one day she has her husband and a daughter, and because she doesn't remember her past, she doesn't know who she really is. And I think I'm gonna post the link to people on Twitter. Just give me a second so I can post it so people can watch this live stream. Yeah, I'm rusty about the live stream. I haven't done it in a very long time. So, but talk about movies, I can do all day long. Live stream like that, and see if people goes in. And yeah, we followed this woman. Her name is, let's see, Samantha Kane, or Charlie. She has amnesia. She doesn't know who she is, but she's starting to she remember very little, and she has hired some private detective played by Samuel L. Jackson to try and find stuff from her past. And one day after a Christmas celebration, she ends up in a car accident where a deer, she hits a deer, and that's a really good scene. It's the deer gets stuck up in the windshield and flips his leg, and then she eventually hits a tree, and she flies out the window in the snow. She's bleeding and stuff like that. And at that moment, she has some flashbacks. She's starting to remember stuff because her past, it's deep down in her subconscious, and it's slowly getting to the light. Let's say the light, and she looks at the deer, and it's hurt real badly, and she just goes to it and just break his neck. And after that, she's starting to sort of, some of her skills starts to appear, because there's a scene where she's in the kitchen with her husband, and she's starting to chop some carrots, and slowly she gains some speed, and she's whoa, look at this, and her husband is looking okay, and her daughter too, real fast, like, I think, and she said, like, I think I'm a chef. I was a chef. I'm a chef. Give me something more. And then get some peppers and salad, stuff like that, and tomatoes. And then she does that thing when she puts the knife on her finger and melts it. Throw the tomato, and then throw the knife, and hits the tomato in the wall. Boom! And you can see from her reaction and her husband's reaction that, holy shit, there's something really not right here. But to not scare her daughter, they're like, she's like, keep it cool, and she's like, chefs do that. And from that moment on, you see she has some very special set of skills. And then we are introduced to Samuel L. Jackson's character. His name is Mitch, and he's a private detective. And it's a great opening, because he enters a room, busts in a room with a guy trying to sleep with a hooker, and it's played by Rex Lynn, and he's, oh no, I haven't done this before, and he's like, not the over the top Samuel L. Jackson with the screaming and stuff like that. He's very sort of laid back, but still the Samuel L. Jackson we know, and he does one of his best performance. And he says to the guy, I can see in your taste of women that you're not a wealthy man. It's like a real diss to the hooker. And then when that scene is over, he has some people with him say, yeah, read him his rights, and he's like, your right is you have to remain silent, and doesn't know that, then he just vomits. But that's all an act, because he has hired some bums, so he doesn't have to pay them too much. And the hooker is actually his companion, and he starts the movie, his opening, by calling her, yeah, you're a ship hooker, and it's a really good scene. And I forgot to mention that this movie is written by Shane Black, and you can feel the dialogue that, yeah, this is Shane Black. And I remember seeing this movie when I was a kid, and I remember liking it. And now when I saw it as an adult, all grown up, before to this review, I thought, what am I gonna think? And I love this movie. It's really good. But back to Samantha. There's a guy in prison that had one eye, and he sees a newsreel from when she was in this Christmas parade before everything happens, and he's totally flips. It's impossible! So I'm gonna kill that bitch. And then he escapes from prison, and then he goes to her home and attacks her and her husband and kid. And then he has this shotgun that is sort of like a railgun laser shotgun that shuts a really big hole in the wall. But that's because we have a scene when she's trying to protect herself, and she throw her daughter out on a tree house and stuff like that. And now you can see that her skills are her subconscious is coming to the light, because she wins over this guy with a pie what's it called, form, smacks him in the head. And then when her husband's watching, she's like, break his neck. And then she's like covered in blood and pie and stuff like that. And she's like, chefs do that. And I was like, shit, this is good. I'm not going to go through an entire movie. This is, if you haven't seen the movie, spoilers, suit yourself. Samuel L. Jackson's character, they get a lead. So they plan, because they have found an old postcard for her fiance, so they meet, and then they go to a place to try and meet him, and then she finds a number, and then she calls that number, and that's Brian Cox, and he tells her that she is a hitman for the CIA, and she's been missing for the last 8 years, and she doesn't remember that because she had an accident with a guy with a blind eye. and she says, "No, I'm not. I'm a mother. I'm at the what's it called, the school's PA, or what it's called." He's like, "Well, then quit." And there's a scene where they're going to meet him. This is the Junk Food Cinema guys. They talked about this in real depth, and there's a scene where they are hunted by the CIA because the guy in the prison, he told his old companion that she's alive, and whenever they hear her name, they're like, shit, they're so scared of her because they know what she is. Even the president of the United States hear her name, and he's like, I don't want anything to do with this shit. Leave me alone, because she's that infamous. She's like, this is like pre-born. I'm getting to that. Anyway, they come to this train station to meet her old boss, the guy from CIA. And the bad guys come there, and she sees them, and then she shoots them, and then they try to escape. And then they go to the second floor, and right when they're about to shoot, someone throws a grenade, which is the longest grenade in the world, the longest grenade to explode. And then she like, run, and the grenade explodes after 10-15 seconds, and it creates this huge flame that chases them through the corridor. And she like shoots the glass, and they jump out. And while they are falling, because it's a frozen lake, she like shoots the lake so she can break the ice while falling, and then they fall into the ice. And this is where the guys from Junk Food Cinema said, yeah, she would be dead. And I agree, but there was one thing I noticed when they got to that place. In the car, there was a sign on the back that said thin ice. So the ice is very thin. So theoretically, they could have made it, but it's a great stunt. But of course, they're fucking dead. They're dead, but they survive. And then he tells himself what she is, and then they don't trust her. So Samuel smacks him in the head in the escape. They have the postcard to go to her fiance, but that's not her fiance. That's just a target she had before. And he captures her and puts her in this wheel that goes underwater to torture her and kill her. And they even killed her boss, Brian Cox, because this is pre-born. This is like Treadstone, but before Treadstone, because he plays the same guy, not the same guy, but the same character in Jason Bourne a few years later. But you could sort of tie them up together. Like this is a pre-born movie, but with a female lead. And the more she gets tortured, the more her other part comes forward, and that's Charlie. No, Charlene. Let me see. Her name is Charlie. Yeah, and she's down in the water, and she see her boss dead, and she know he has a gun in his crouch. So he grabs the gun and he goes up, and she's like, boom, shoots him, and that the one he shoots is David Morse. He's great. You always see him in small parts and stuff like that. But then again, the movie continues, goes on. The bad guy wants to kill her, of course. But the bad guys, they have a plan. They want to make because after the first 9 World Trade Center bombing, the CIA get a lot of funding to fight terrorism. But now nothing happens, so they want to make their own terrorist attack and blame it on the Muslims. But they can't just pretend, so they're gonna do it for real. They're gonna blow up a town and blame it on Muslims that they have. Yeah, they're going to stage this terrorist attack to get funding. Yeah, it sounds real stupid, but that's the way it is. And they kidnap her, but before that, she completely turns. She becomes Charlie, and and that's a great moment because we have Gina Davis play this mom with long hair and the school mom, and after her other personality comes forward into the light, she completely changed. She has blonde hair, and she's like, the difference is night and day. Even the way she talks, the way she moves, the way she says stuff, and it's a completely different character. And that's such a great thing she does. She does a really a thing when she has she's going to have a vodka, and of course it's Finlandia because the director is from Finland. She has the shot like this. She puts it like this, and like, who does that? That's really cool. And Samuel L. Jackson is like, who the hell is this bitch? And but wait, they want to stop the terrorists. She gets captured, and then the movie has some really good lines because the bad guy says he can always tell when a person is lying to him, because when he meets her for the first time, he's like, have we met before? And she's like, no, I don't know, no, we haven't. But he knows that she is her, but she doesn't remember. And when she said, no, I don't think we haven't met, he sees that she's telling the truth, that she doesn't remember. So for him, it's like, yeah, this would be easy. But then she remembers, and then they capture her and her daughter, and they put them in this freezing room. And then she says to him that you're gonna die, and like, you're gonna die screaming. And he's like, haha. And she's like, yeah, can you see? Am I telling the truth? And when he sees that, he's like, shit, like, close the door. And yeah, and then she gets out, and there's a good line in the movie. His daughter is freezing, and she's like, mommy, are we gonna die? She's like, no, but they are. And then like, you want to get a dog? It's a real nice moment. They break out. She gets Samuel L. Jackson out, and they try to kill a lot of bad guys because there's a big truck with a bomb, and it's going to this bridge, not to the town, and they need to stop it. So, but Samuel L. Jackson gets captured when she's in the freezer, and they torture him, and they place him in the car with the dead Muslim, because they're going to frame him. He is just going to blow up. But he's not dead because you can't kill Samuel L. Jackson. And when he finally becomes the Deus Ex Machina, when Charlie needs help, he's like bust out from a container and like, you can't kill me, motherfuckers, like he always does, in a really good way. And there's some good stunts in this movie, especially the end, because then they fight. They try. One stupid thing happens when she tells her daughter, "Oh, go hide," and then she hides in the toolbox on the truck that has the bomb, and she sees that, so she runs to try to take over the truck. And there's a nice scene with the bad guy, because the bad guy is a good bad guy in this movie. So she takes the driver and she's like, just throw him out on the street, and he like bounce on his back, and nothing too serious. And then she's driving the truck away from the town with all the people, because this takes place on Christmas. And then the bad guy, let's see what his name is. I can't call him the bad guys. His name is Timothy. When Timothy is in the car on the way to see that everything is fine, the driver calls on the radio. She took the truck, and I'm hurt real bad. I think I'm dying. And he's like, continue dying. And then he just hangs up. And yeah, I think that's a great moment. And she tries to take the truck from the town, but the brakes are cut, and she's like, oh, this is not fair. So she takes it out to a bridge near the border to Canada, and there it flips, and in a great stunt, because this movie is before CGI, not before CGI, but there are not a lot of CGI. It's just blue screen and miniatures and practical effects, and that's why this movie looks gorgeous, especially the action sequences and the explosions and stuff like that. It looks real because it is real miniatures and stuff. Some of the green screen when she has her flashback memories on a cliff, it's shot in a really special way. You can see that it's green screen, but in that time it looked like that, but it works for the movie. So a little sidebar. If you haven't heard the junk food cinema, you won't understand what the hell I'm doing. But I'm trying to do some reference to that podcast because this is because of them I'm doing this. So anyway, the final battle, the climax of the movie is a really good action piece. Charlie, she's hurt real badly. She's out of energy, and her daughter said, "Get up, mommy, get up," because she does like a callback from the beginning when her daughter tried to do some ice skating and she fell, and she's like, "Get up, get up," and she tells that life is pain, get used to it. And now she's laying there in the ground, covered in blood and hurt really badly, and she's like, "Get up, mommy, get up, get up. Life is pain, get used to it." And that sort of gives her a little spark to go up. And Timothy, he's on a helicopter with a gun, and she has killed some bad guys from before. There's a guy hanging on the Christmas light on the bridge, and he is on fire. So he got blown up, and got stuck there. And he has a machine gun on him, a gun. And when she sees when she's gonna win the big battle, she has this really crazy Shane Black stunts. When she get a hold of the Christmas light, she cuts it and she goes up at the same time as the dead guy that is on fire goes down, and at the same time she just grabs the gun, and then next to the helicopter she's like just shoots him, boom 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 boom, and then Timothy falls down and lands on the on the big truck. And then she gets in the car with Samuel Jackson and they drive as fast as they can to the border, because she said, "You're gonna die screaming," and then he is on the top of the tank when it explodes, and he is screaming. So she was right, and he gets blown to hell. And we have a really nice shot when the car is driving away from the fire, because it's a huge fireball, and that is done practically, of course. And I hope they use miniatures, because the car gets fucked with a fireball with Samuel Jackson and her and the daughter in the car, and the car goes, and then when the pressure wave hits it, the car goes on the two wheels on fire, and they make it to the border, and movie end, sort of. Spoilers. No, a lot of spoilers, but I remember watching this movie when I was a kid, like I said before, and I liked it, and I think this movie is fucking awesome. It's a really good action-packed movie with some great dialogue, some great scenes. Gina Davis is amazing as both Samantha Cain and Charlie, and Samuel Jackson as Mitch. And then we have what's her name, Melina Cancaredes, from, you would probably know her from CSI New York. You have David Morse, Patrick Malahide, Brian Cox, Tom Amandes, Craig Burko, Yvonne Sima, many characters, good characters in this movie, and actors. And it's, like I said, directed by Remy Harling, the guy that did Die Hard 2. And ever since, he's always tried to make his own Die Hard, because then he did what's it called? One of my favorite Die Hard copies, Cliffhanger. He did Cliffhanger, and then he did Deep Blue Sea, which is a movie I like, and then he did 12 Rounds. So he always tried to make his own Die Hard, but has failed, because he did Die Hard 2, and that's a good movie. And this movie, The Long Kiss Goodnight, I think has it all. For me, I thought I really like the Jason Bourne movies, but after seeing this movie, this is different. You can feel it more because here you can sort of relate to her. You can't do that really with Jason Bourne because he has amnesia and he doesn't remember anything. Bits of pieces. Still after 5 movies, he still doesn't remember who he is. But in this movie, she remembers that, and it's well paced, great action, really good acting. The action sequence, everything is good, and the transformation that she makes, the character development and the arc from each character is very good, and it pays off in the end. The foreshadowing and the stuff, that the little stuff, that the hint in the beginning, everything pays out in the end. And for me, I think this movie is better than Die Hard 2 because I want to say that this is probably Remy Harling's best movie. Even though I really love Die Hard 2, I think this is the better movie. This is a better structured movie. And yeah, that's it. There's a reason I did this live, because I can talk about this movie for over an hour, and I didn't want to do like a review and you hear me talking about this movie for like half an hour, which you have done now. But in this way, I could do like a live stream, not showing any trailers and stuff like that, and probably do some more live streams because it was a long time ago I did that. And if you haven't seen The Long Kiss Goodnight, I can absolutely recommend the movie. For me, it's a 4 out of 5. It's 4.5 out of 5. For me, it's almost a perfect movie. It's one of the movies that would not work making today. I don't know why I said that, but I think it's true, because today would be a lot of CGI and digital effects and explosion. This is miniatures. You can see, you can feel it, that it's real. And that's what's so good about this movie. You can feel it. So this was my first live stream in a very long time. I can talk about movies without any script like I did now. And hopefully you like this. And next time I'm going to watch another movie. I have, let's see what movie I have left. I have seen, what was the first movie I did? I did Time Cop. And now I did The Long Kiss Goodnight. I have Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, and I have Dark Man and Sudden Death. Those 3 movies I have left in this 5-series episode Junkathon Marathon. And with that said, I say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time in a live stream or on a review. Bye.